Welcome to another episode of Doug's Electronic Repair Bench.
Well, afternoon, YouTube. Here with you on this Saturday afternoon. You are looking at my new project box. Yes, isn't that a wonderful thing? Very nice. I was a little bit worried when it first showed up. I thought, oh, I don't know, that may not be big enough. I was really kind of dreading, thinking about it, because coming in here to try it, like I say, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon now, and of course the mail ran a little after 1, so I kind of put it off. I didn't really think it was going to fit, but there is the circuit board that has to fit in it. Let's take a look and see. And I've already done this, so I know what the result is going to be. How about that? It does fit. Is that amazing or what? Now I think I can use that, let's see if I can get a little better. Yeah, you can see it a little bit better there. There's a standoff there I do believe I can use for that hole right there. Now I'm not really sure if this is the input or the output. One end is going to be the input, obviously, and one end is the output. On the output end, or I should say the input end, there's the signal AFN, so that must be the input. So this will be on this end coming in here. There will be a BNC type connector, and that will go through and connect to the circuit board right there. So, and then on the other end there will be the coax, which will run back to, well, it'll run to this switch, and it will be the #1 position. So that's the way that's going to work. And once it's in that position, it will go up to the amplifier via one of these cables here into the input of that. So and the only thing I have to come up with now is a way to power it. It will run off of 12 volts, so that's probably what I'll use. Probably a tap off the same that same little power supply there. Not sure if I'll come off. Probably come off the back of this, where it goes in here to the source right there. That's the power. I'll probably put another wire in there and just come off of that, and make it run down to the box. That's not going to be a long cable. Most of the cable, in fact, I'm thinking about securing it to the shelf or something, and just so that the only thing it'll be actually maybe something like this. I don't know. I'm just kind of just trying a little bit of this and that and everything else, but have the probe hook up here for the BNC, and of course there'd be a top on it. But like I said, that's just some of the things I'm thinking about. Thinking out loud, I guess, is what I'm saying. But main thing was I wanted to make sure that was going to fit. I was a little worried about that, a little more than worried, but it does fit, so no problem there. Okay, I haven't actually obviously built it yet. That's going to come later. You guys, most of you, I think, know that I went to the skating rink last night. Let me turn this around and take a look at me for a change. I don't know why. Oh, there we are. Even got my glasses off. How about that? But like I said, we went to the skating rink last night, and it was pretty good. My grandson chickened out. He wouldn't go on the ice, and but Kylie did, and Kylie did all right. She had her friends with her, 2 of her friends, and they helped her around the skating rink a few times. And then she kind of got brave enough to go out on her own a little bit, and she would go and do a little skating and stuff like that. And she stopped by our where we were sitting, and we were talking, and she was trying to get her brother to go out on the ice. Of course, he wouldn't. And that's the clip you're going to see, and I think you'll be able to see where she ends up. So let me go ahead and run that. Keep Billy out there.
Come on, Billy.
It doesn't look too bad when you, of course, you know it's far away and you can barely see it, but you did see her go down, and you know what happened as far as you know, she must have got tangled up with that other person. I don't know. I didn't really talk to her. They were a little concerned with her injury. She basically fell on her chin, and it was bleeding, so they took her to the restroom and put a band-aid on it, and they got it to stop bleeding, but they still were concerned because of the size of the gash in her chin, so they ended up taking her to the emergency room, and she did get stitches. So it wasn't pleasant experience for her, I'm sure, but I think she's enough of a trooper where she'll probably go back and want to do it again. Hi Bill, this part of this video is for you. Well, anybody else that wants to understand exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing with these switch boxes. The switch box that you see there, the Radio Shack, and the original 4-position switch box was also Radio Shack. I had those all along. I've had those, oh gosh, I don't know how long I've had them. I've had them forever. And never have used them for anything at all. So I thought, you know, even before I had the bench, the original workbench sawed up, I thought someday those will be handy for switching between speakers or inputs or things like that. And I said, you know, I'll keep them around, so I kept them. So, and then when I did get this bench and had the idea to make an electronics workbench out of it, and I had the speakers up there that I know you've all seen. I'll show them to you again. There's one there, and there's one there. Those speakers were donated along with the bench. And I thought, well, okay, those will be my test speakers. And I can use these switches for switching the different inputs to the speakers. Originally, I was going to use a little Radio Shack amplifier I had, but then this little gem here came along, and I thought, oh, I'll just use this. And so I hadn't really decided totally on how I was going to set it up as far as inputs and outputs, or inputs and speaker connections, I should say. And when I figured out that this had a video component to it, in addition to just audio, I thought, well, you know, that would be handy if I could just use the video port to switch the speaker or the amplifier on and off when the speaker wasn't selected. And that way, you know, there would be no chance that you'd have the amplifier hooked up and playing when the speaker was not connected to it. And this also allows, this is the speaker selection switch. It will select number 1, which is the amplifier. It just basically allows you to listen to music, whatever you want to do. Has the amplifier hooked up to the speakers. Okay. Now number 2 is going to be the, let's see, I've got it sitting here somewhere. These connectors. RCA jacks, standard jacks. And I have these inline gender changers, or whatever you want to call them, to use with in conjunction with these in case I run into a problem where, you know, an output from whatever I'm working on uses these types of connectors. I can go from them to them, and this will connect to the speakers, and that's what they're for. And that's number 2. Now number 3 will be a set of, well, yeah, these. These will be number 3. And these are not going to be the ones that are too short. I originally done these a long time ago, and I decided that they're way too short, especially with the way the setup is now. But these are just alligator clips connected to the RCAs that'll connect to the switch box. And when number 3 is selected, then these can be hooked up to an amplifier or radio or whatever I want to hook them up to, and that will connect it to the speakers. So that's what those are for. Now the 4th one is going to be a set of pin connectors. Now you've all seen the amplifiers that have the little push terminals where you push the thing down and you stick the wire in. And rather than trying to do that with a bunch of loose wire, I decided to put some pins. They're actually nails. I soldered wires to the nails, and those just slide in and hook up, and those will be number 4. Okay, so that is what that is used for, and that is why I wanted it that way. And some of you guys may say this is overkill, and excuse me, I excuse me again. I kind of agree. But, excuse me, but I've had this idea a long time, and I decided to make it come to fruition today, or not today, but now, and I have been working hard on it, and you guys have seen me how I had to rearrange everything on this to get it to work the way I wanted, and now it is, and it will be fine. Now, on the other switch box, there's only 3 inputs for it. There's no need for a pin connector on this one because there's no pins outputs for inputs. So now number 1 is going to be my signal tracer. That's going to be involving the circuit I showed you in the other video just made for the project box and things. And that's going to be number 1. And also this will be set to number 1 anytime that I use my inputs, because the inputs will go from out of here, and they're already connected. I've got that wire I got connected to the input of this, and I'll show you the back of that. You can see all of the inputs are now in there. This thing is ready to be mounted to that board, and like I said, the input or the RCAs that come out of here go into the one that's the source for this. In other words, whatever I press the button for, 1, 2, or 3, connects the input of that to whatever I have the input coming out. One input is another RCA. And if I have something that needs an RCA type connection, again, I can use the gender changers if I need to do that. Those are there. And that's what that's for. The other connector, and there's only 3 on this one, will be a set of these. Same thing. And they're just alligator clips, and they will allow you to basically connect anything. So, and that's what those are for. So 1, 2, and 3. That 1's the signal tracer that I'm building. 2 is the RCAs, and I set it up to where 2 is RCAs on this, on the speakers, and RCAs on this, so I know number 2 is always RCAs. And 3 is the alligator clips, and same way with 3. 3 is the alligator clips on the speakers, 3 is the alligator clips on the input. So that will always be the same. Number 4 is the only different one, and like I said, that's the only one that's used the pin connectors, and that's what those are for. But this is why, and I understand you're questioning my thought process in doing all this, but this is why I've done this, and I just wanted to use these switches. Now I have a new switch. I know I went too far, but I did it because this is the way I wanted to set it up. And it's just a matter of the way I wanted to do things, and it is my bench. And I hope you guys understand that. And this is just the way I wanted to set it up. I mean, I know it's overkill, and you guys are, preaching to the choir here. I mean, it's obviously, it doesn't have to be done. I could have used a set of alligator clips and got away with the whole thing. I mean, that would have been it. But this is just the way I wanted to do it because I had the switch boxes and they'd never been used, especially this one because it's brand new. But even the other ones had never been used. So I thought, what a better way than this to use it. And that's the way I've got it set up, and that's why I did it this way. And yeah, I could have done it 1,000 other ways, Bill. I mean, you know, you let me count the ways. It's just a lot of different things I could have done. But this is what I wanted to do. And I hope you understand that. And I wanted to make this video instead of trying to type all that out because I'm kind of like you when it comes to typing and reading. I'd rather just see somebody tell me what's going on. And so now, like I said, this is totally ready to be screwed down to the board. It all is hooked up to everything it's going to be hooked up to. This is only lacking the alligator clips and the pin connectors, and I have to make up new lead sets for that because, like I said, these are just too short. And I'll use the end connectors, the same end connectors, but you know, I'll make out of that red and black wire that I bought some time ago. And so that's the way those are going to be hooked up. And like I said, the same thing for the inputs. I just have the only thing I have now is the RCAs that are the inputs. That's them. And I'm going to have to come up with some kind of color coding or something for the inputs and the speaker connectors because I'll probably get these, you know, confused. And I will come up with some kind of tape or something on this to make sure I know what's what. And again, same thing with the alligator connectors on this side. And so once it's all done, you'll see how it works, and I think you'll be impressed. And if you're not, that's fine too. But anyway, I didn't mean to make another long video, but here it is after 10 minutes. Jeez, oh Pete. All right, gonna be cutting this off and then get back to the other video now so you can see what's going on.